It is crunch time for BBZ. Point number 2 was picked up by TDE in the previous game. And this could be a final moment for BBZ to put themselves on the stage. We're going to see if they're able to pull through. My name is Escape, and I'm joined by Anti.
Hello, hello, and just like that, honestly, a big question coming into the series was, Tadeusz playing that top line. We haven't really seen Tadeusz playing for BBZ before, but, seems to be slotted in quite well. Honestly, did phenomenally in the last game, but unfortunately, no matter how flawlessly you play as Ornn into Gangplank, that is still Jaffe's Gangplank. And, what are you going to take away from the enemy team in order to deny that? Are you just going to put Chris on an island again? Chris being Tadeusz, sorry. Or are you going to actively get rid of the Gangplank? And that is what they're opting to do this time.
When the triple ban back towards Mizusa in that mid lane has been a force on that Kale. They were picking it up into the Seraphine, was looking really confident. Mizusa is kind of known for having a couple centralized champion picks that he's really, really strong on. So seeing those picked away once again, kind of flashbacks to previous seasons. BBZ is just going to be locking straight into that Lucian and Kaisa to answer.
All right. And I mean, we saw that Lucian doing so much work in these last two games. Ultravox honestly piloted it fairly solidly. But Geico, the game before that was the one game that BBZ's won so far, and maybe we'll see that come across again. The Syndra going to be picked up from Mizusa. Now, a long time in the league, we've joked around. Mizusa doesn't really have much of a champion pool. He just plays these scaling mid lane control mages, and now with the Syndra getting that small rework, I guess they turned Syndra into Kale, and Mizusa's been enjoying it with quite a bit of varying success.
Yeah, no, obviously she's she functions very similar, but she feels very different. Her actual role during games hasn't changed too much. She just does a little bit better and a little bit different timings. Talia was locked in. We see the Taric and the Maokai. Obviously, that Maokai does have 3 roles available that it can flex into, so not showing too much right there from TDE. That Taric, though, that is sentence for War Leader down in that bot lane. He loves that champion.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Taric as a champion does so much work. If you know how to pilot this champion properly, and with an Udyr, you can get someone spell immune running into the back line to get a stun on top of a stun. And just like that, with the Aatrox on board, the gauntlet is thrown down, blind into Jaffe, and the Irelia going to be picked up here. And Tadeusz was a little bit concerned about Jaffe's Irelia, consulted a few people around FOF for some practice. Hopefully he's been able to get the, what information it is he needs to succeed in this matchup. But we've seen Jaffe's Irelia do absolute damage.
Irelia was the turning point, for AA in their grand final set very recently. Jaffe did a good job there. I want to note that the Eve has come out here, and it gives TDE a really interesting composition where they almost want to play towards drawing people to side lanes and picking them off with Evelynn. Which is almost like a 3-1-1 strategy where you've got this Eve lurking in the jungle looking for pickoffs. Meanwhile, BBC is trying to keep it the simplistic, just have that frontline midsection and the backline fight as easy as they can.
Absolutely, and with the Maokai opting to go for the bot lane, unless we're getting some kind of craziness, I wouldn't really put it past. Yeah, I mean, it is Bob Joseph. Right, maybe we do see something crazy like Talia support, and then Zen once again returning to top lane tanks playing Maokai in mid lane. Who knows? That being said, we'll have to see how it goes on the Rift, and no surprises here. We are going to get a very standard team composition from the side of TDE, but now we have front to back city versus what I feel like is a very heavily indexed split pushing composition.
Yeah, I'd be really interested to see how TDE is going to actually play this one out, because playing to comp identity is something that I feel like they're kind of not exactly coin flippy about, but they lose out on their decision making sometimes. They get caught playing with what's the ideal play for this situation versus what can our comp actually get away with. And we'll see whether or not they can play to it, though. Jaffe on that Irelia is definitely not something you got to worry about too much if you're on the side of TD. That being said, Tadeusz just had a very good showing so far early in this set. That Irie's going to be the tester, though. With that Ignite picked up, that is Jaffe saying, I want to play aggressive into this lane, and we're going to see Dak's path away from him. So it's really going to be on Tadeusz to be able to be comfortable in that top lane and play effectively.
Yeah, I mean, one big thing to note about Irelia versus Aatrox, right? It's a very heavy skill matchup, but I would say it's actually more in Irelia's favor, right? If you ever go in at 70% or lower, you will die as Irelia, right? You know, it doesn't matter if you dodge every single Q, as long as the Aatrox can hit, you know, that right click auto attack on you, that passive does so much work.
Ooh,
But either
immediate
way,
aggression
Bob
in this
Joseph.
bot lane. Bob Joseph getting chunked out. War Leader the same. They're both going to have to pop all those health pots and work towards this level 2, which I think is where this lane is really going to blow up Jaffe, though. Not waiting that long, just immediately getting onto it. And I think we've seen this already. We saw Jaffe do this against... Oh, God. What was
Trolling.
their top lane? Yeah, Trolling you. And that was exactly how we started. It was on red side as well. So Tadeusz actually has the ability to have watched that set and try and learn from what went wrong. Because that Irelia turned into a menace by the end of that game. Level 2 picked up for Ultravox ahead of Geico here. Here comes the engage, though, from Jaffe. And it looks like aggressive laning's the play for TDE.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, when Jaffe does have the Ignite available,
Oh
you
my
have to be
goodness.
really wary about it. Oh, that's very risky of a second Q for Tadeusz to throw out. Not going to get punished for it, though. And, you know, as I was saying earlier, right? You know, if Irelia goes in sub 70%, you're in a lot of trouble. But if you just survive in the laning phase until you get your Bork, you can literally just walk into lane and run the Aatrox over. So it's a question of what kind of jungle pressure are we going to be seeing from BBZ? You know, do you devote it to your master tier bottom lane? Or do you devote it to, you know, one of the new kids on the block, Tadeusz, piloting this Aatrox? And we've seen Tadeusz do super well in this series. That Ornn gameplay from the last game, honestly, nothing to scoff at.
Yeah, and Jaffe's not a weak laner by any means, so it's good showing right now. It looks like Dax is not going to be able to find a gank on this bot side. It looks like they do want to play towards Geico and War Leader in this bot lane. And you know, it makes sense. That's where they have the most strengths right now. Jaffe trying to get this big wave under turret, going to go in, gets both Qs off, hasn't popped the Ignite just yet, but he does get the trade, and that is a huge wave that is going to collapse into that turret today, which is going to have to burn the TP.
Yeah, and Tadeusz burning the TP might not be what he wants, but at the very least, you know, Ignite versus Teleport, you're not going to be losing out on the Summoner spells. But speaking of losing out, Bob Joseph losing out on a lot of health here.
Looking to go back. Yeah, a bit of aggression right there. I don't know if Sensen knows, but Dax is lurking in the sides right here. Is going to try and run in, get that stun. The flash comes forward. Mez does not have the E up, though. It is low health bars. Both flashes burn for the mid laners, but Mezusa too far in and gives the kill over to the Talia.
Oh, baby. And Zen feeling quite happy about that one. You know, been on the back foot for the last few games, but, you know, Geico and War Leader still continuing to pick up gold, pick up CS, and pick up damage that they're just dumping into this enemy bot lane.
Oh, yeah, and there's a really good, like, obvious defined example of what the difference in the gold is in the top lane right now is Tadeusz only got that longsword on the recall versus quite literally the next step up being finished up for Jaffe, and that could be a compounding lead. Obviously, you have a little bit of gold now, you can push it to get even more later. We're going to see whether or not that turns into something that BBZ needs to turn their focus to, whether or not they need to keep working on that. Right now, the bot lane has been functioning very well for them so far. War Leader has been able to find a couple of E's and get Geico set up. Bob Joseph being forced to try and soak up this wave right now. So this is really kind of what we saw in the AA game with Jaffe on this Irelia again, is the two sides clashing and Jaffe being relentless to this Aatrox.
Yeah, and Tadeusz right now, this is what I was talking about earlier, right? You know, we got to see whether or not we can get that jungle pressure up into this top lane.
Flash.
No flash available.
Oh, and he doesn't have to pop it right there. Tadeusz had to flash forward to pick up the Q. And Jaffe's just going to be comfortable walk right out of there. Doesn't have the TP, but isn't going to need it. That wave is going to slow push to him. Well done on the escape there.
Yeah,
I do say so myself.
As a question, you know, I do believe Dax should come up and help Tadeusz shove out this wave. Instead, going to be opting for the back, not wanting to give Leaves any time to nab that dragon. Right now, you do see War Leader has those wards down, has that vision, going to make sure that nothing goes wrong there. But Tadeusz now in a really rough spot, picking up that early Vamp Scepter for the extra survivability in this lane, but not going to do you too many favors as far as the overall winning the laning phase portion goes.
You know, and in terms of, like, Lucian support options, I don't think Tark really ever gets talked about. but you can consistently keep his passive available, and that is where a lot of that additional damage comes from. Obviously, people see the Nami E. They expect it to be coming from the Nami E. Back when there was Electrocute, there was actually a lot of damage coming out of the support there. As there's 4 people rotating down to the bot lane right now. Ultravox has been able to escape. There's a flash available right now for Bob Joseph. He's looking towards that blast cone and is going to be able to knock himself out of there. And a good job getting out of that situation, but it looks like Dragon's going to be the focus. Meanwhile, Leaves is going to try and trade for that top jungle from Dax.
Yeah, I mean, getting that top jungle, you know, it must feel great. You know, you're just gonna munch up all of those jungle camps, maybe get a blue buff to your mid laner, and as long as Evelynn can get closer and closer to that level 6, you can start to see her doing some work in those sidelines. Meanwhile, Chris, today, sorry.
Oh yeah, getting ganked up in the top lane right now. The ulti's already been burnt out of Zenzen's going to try and chase down post level 6 on all 3 of these members right now. Evelynn is in the wings, but I don't think she's going to be needed. Tadeusz getting taken down in the 2 versus 1, and Evelynn's reign over the top jungle is going to continue. It looks like Dax is going to try and answer.
Yeah, and right now, you know, we're getting the answer to the question we were asked earlier, right? Is, you know, Tadeusz, the new kid on the block, going to get the island treatment from BBZ? And I guess right now that does seem to be the play. You know, Aatrox, however, does scale up very well, regardless of whether or not, you know, he's, you know, 1-7 or 7-1. He can and will one-shot your AD carry if they do not properly position.
We're close to level 6 in that bot lane right now for BBZ. Okay, no, I thought that they were going to try and use the Taric ulti to get in there with the Evelynn, create a 3v2 dive onto the turret there, maybe pick up some plating, whatever it was, but it looks like that's not going to be the option. They're just trying to back out of there. And so far, Ultravox and Bob Joseph have done a good job in mitigating deaths. They haven't run into any, though, right now. They feel like BBZ is on a reset, so they might get into a little bit of trouble. Here comes the engage. Double stun! Geico carrying the Toriki, and Bob Joseph is gonna go down. Ultravox trying to trade some damage to back the kill. Falls to the Ignite from War Leader. Great play from the Lucian comboed there with the Dazzle.
Yeah, I mean, it was a phenomenal dash in from Geico to try to make sure to get the double stun. But War Leader, with the quick thinking, with the quick fingers, able to recognize it's just barely not going to be able to catch Ultravox, flashes over to guarantee the double. And, you know, War Leader and Geico already showing off exactly why Lucian Blue Side first pick has been the name of this series.
Yeah, it's happened a lot so far. It's sitting at 2-1 right now, 1 apiece for each of these teams. And right now, TDE is starting to maybe feel it a little bit. I thought that the Kai'Sa pick was a little bit interesting to go into Lucian. Obviously, you want to try and bully Lucian with an advantage somewhere, right? You need to be able to outburst him, outclear him, outrange him something, because otherwise he has such an easy time taking over those lanes. And Kai'Sa doesn't really do any of that early in the game as the Hex Flash comes over the wall right now. Bob Joseph getting chunked down, tries to take the re-engage onto Lucian right now, level 6, so the culling is going to come out. Bob Joseph down 100 HP and just running towards his death right now as TDE has found Dax in the top jungle right now. It is 2v2 in the river for the moment, as Tadeusz is going to join now right now. Jaffe in a 1v3, but he's able to take it up so well, and now Zenzen's going to try and join. Low HP on a Jaffe. The flash forward comes through from Dax, but they're unable to pick up the kill, but they do find it on the resets. And now coming back the other way, Zenzen with the flash available is going to try and hail to the Herald Pit to get out of there, but he's running out of time. The flash forward for the auto attack. Zenzen gets out of there? Are you kidding me? Able to live. It is a 1-for-0, but the Herald is going to go to BBZ.
Herald to BBZ, very, very important. You know, a bit of, you know, respite for BBZ right now. And Tadeusz, importantly, manages to pick up some kills in that. You know, able to finally get that injection of gold that he really, really needs. You know, 30 CS down, very, very difficult. Mezusa, unfortunately, going to be dropping that flash, not going to be able to pick up the kill onto Zenzen. Zenzen, of all things, was so convinced he was dead there. You saw that little shuffle back towards the Syndra, but both players incredibly confused, able to survive, able to get out, and able to play once more.
Wave was picked up there for Jaffe in the mid lane, so the Cyrelli is going to continue to pick up gold. The pickaxes there. We are quickly moving towards that Bork pickup like you were talking about, and we're really yet to see that either of these junglers come into play in a big way. Obviously did immediately get that good play onto Zenzen in the mid lane, did Dax, but it looks like this is going to be Leave's first attempt. Bob Joseph is stancing very aggressively. There's no vision showing that the Eve is here for the moment, but they have realized that Zenzen is missing from that mid wave. Going to try and check up for this control ward. This could be a very good bait to try and put War Leader out of position right now, but they've got 4 coming to the spot side, and it looks like BBZ can smell what's coming.
Yeah, I mean, right now you have to sit back, you know, when you finally have those lull states, right? You know, those moments where not everything on the map is happening. You have to kind of sit back and think to yourself, what is going on through these players' heads? You know, BBZ had a little bit
Oh,
of a
hold on.
rough start,
Mez
and
is
oh
caught.
Lord.
He might be thinking about a little bit of danger that he found himself in right now. The ulti's coming through from Bob Joseph, but there's nothing to be done. Mezuzah without that flash is a key cooldown, and that is 20 seconds before the dragon spawns. He's not going to have anything up for that. That should be dragon going over to TDE.
Yeah, you know, it's a little bit of that aggressive flash from earlier coming into play. Jaffe just going to continue to dance around and continue to get a little bit of this trade damage off. Not looking to fully all in just yet. It's one of the beauties of Irelia. No matter how you feel, you know, she can always find a way in.
Yeah, no, she always has her options right there, and there it is. TD has moved towards this dragon. They're going to be able to take it in under 30 seconds, which is why that Akshan bug shouldn't have been banned. And they're going to be picking that one up at the 12-minute mark before anybody's finished their Mythic, so that's even more evidence.
Oh boy, oh boy.
Going to be moved towards a Cloud Soul, though. That's going to be interesting. That's going to allow TDE to really support their side laners if they are going to try and go for these this 4-1 strategy, potentially. But it's also going to give room for BBZ to rotate towards it faster. It does make side laning a little bit more of a central aspect of the game with this Cloud Soul, because everything is so much closer together thanks to those little wind pockets in the red and blue jungles.
Yeah, and meanwhile, you know, I don't know. I have absolutely not forgotten Tadeusz, even if BBZ might have, but right now, I don't think Directed Cam is going to be forgetting Tadeusz anytime soon, because we see that Bork finally finish up for Jaffe, and oh, we got the entire enemy team coming in top.
BBZ is committed 3 into the top lane right now with this Rift Town. Now leaves this on the side. They have to know he's there, and it looks like Ultravox is going to try and create some pressure on the bot lane right now. I don't know if they have the ability to do that. They're just trying to stop him from rotating mid. There's the ulti coming out from War Leader, and it's going to make it so hard for Ultravox to be able to leave both flashes going down onto that Kai'Sa. It is a killing spree for the Taric. Zen was pushed out of the mid lane, but the Rift Herald was defended. So overall, it's just 1 kill going over to BBZ.
Yeah, bloodthirsty support going to go in, and it seems that Bob Joseph's Bloodthirst is actually going to be the one working against TDE this time around. You know, War Leader just continuing to pick up every kill off of Bob Joseph's aggression, and you have to wonder, when is it that, you know, being the proactive one stopped being helpful?
Yeah, and it was a little bit of an overcommitment once the ulti came out from the Taric, but they were kind of stuck in that situation. They didn't have any ways out. Looks like TDE is going to try and continue to play around their strong side of the map. Just let this Kai'Sa get into the game. I see a serrated Dirk, and I'm angry, but we'll see whether or not that's just going to be held onto. Obviously, there is no serrated Dirk coming out from Geico, and that has been the build for Lucian as well. Like, just to pick up that serrated Dirk and sit on it for a little bit. Looks like Leaves is going to try and sit on this mid lane, see if he can find an opening.
Yeah, I mean, one thing to note, you know, with the serrated Dirk, with this exact build path, I do believe that Kai'Sa does get the evolved Q.
He does.
You know, this is something that Ruler and Deft have been making use of quite a bit in Worlds. You know, we've seen this time and time again. That being said, there's a lot of people who much prefer things like the on-hit build for Kai'Sa. Spencer.
Yeah, she's a cool champion right now, though, because she has so many available builds, right? She has options. I realistically, I think that AP is still playable. I don't think it's her best build by any stretch of the imagination, but like if you need it, she does work as an AP champion still. Her on-hit builds work, her crit builds work. Don't build Collector, but honestly, like, as a champion, she's in a fantastic spot right now in terms of balance. She's still at the top of the tables. So I really like to see that from just balancing team in general, and it really gives you a lot of options right now. But BBC's been doing a really good job of closing down any options that they've had in that bot lane. There's been no pressure allowed to be applied right now. Jaffe has really been all of the pressure coming out of TDE right now, but Tadeusz is looking to turn. He's already taken half HP off the Irelia, but look at the damage coming back. But here comes Dax. Low HP from Tadeusz. He can't finish off the kill. Flashes under turn, but the Ignite already finished him off. Now trying to trade back with the Udyr. He is taken very low, and though it is close, Dax is able to pick up the kill. Looks like Leaves is going to try and catch the Syndra up on the way back to lane. They do see her coming over the control with the flash is burnt out. Leaves caught on the other side of the wall. Is going to flash over, but gets pushed back with a Blasted Cone. Is Zen going to be able to hold on to this, though, right now? Mezuzah is under the turret. Leaves has run into Dax. Is aware that he's there right now. Stunned, traded back the other way, trying to find damage on this Udyr, but as a burst champion, it's really hard to chew through those tank stats, and Evelyn's the one who's losing the health bar. TD having to walk away from that one with a 1-for-1, and they lost the Kai'Sa in the bot lane.
Yeah, I mean, that was a beautiful flash for Medusa. This time, going to be the one making that clean getaway, but Zenzen popping that ghost early, make sure that his jungler gets out as safely as possible. But this Lucian is slowly turning into more and more of a problem. This time, the kill not going over the support, instead going to go over to the Lucian for the first time in 16 minutes.
It's been a little bit longer than that since Geico's seen a kill on that Lucian, but yeah, no, he hasn't exactly been starving right now, but you know, he like you say, like missing out on those kills, like one really doesn't matter. Anybody who tells you one kill matters, that's literally 3 health potions, like whatever. But
yeah, I mean, like maybe if you're Draven, but that's about it.
Yeah, maybe if you're, you know, I'll give you Draven, I'll give you Pike, that's about it. Or reset champions, but you know, the further we go into the semantics war, we're gonna take the whole stream off course. But as the kills start to pile up, as more and more gold starts to go missing, well, now we're looking at, you know, just over a kill that's missing right now for, at the moment for Geico, but it looks like Dax is going to try and make an engage right now. He's caught over the wall. This just feels really discoordinated from BBZ. That's really out of character. Dax just on the wrong side of that wall too early, and as the dragon spawns, Jaffe's going to be able to drop that Rift Herald. Jaffe did Jaffe things and took it. Out the side, it looks like the turret's going to get dropped in the top lane first, but that is mid-outer going over to TDE, and you will take that.
Yeah, I mean, taking those towers for free, taking this dragon for free. I mean, for those who are a little bit of newcomers to the scene, Jaffe known as one of the most self-sufficient top laners in the league, not only in terms of laning, but also in terms of just straight up getting things done, right? You know, if this guy has a little bit of a
trying
lead,
to pop ulti to pressure, and I didn't even see the from TDE on the back, and neither did TDE, as they are ripped to shreds. The Aatrox on the backline, Geico who's found his way to Ultravox for a double kill, and that dragon was a little bit overzealous, as that is all 4 members on this bot side picked up from BBZ.
Yeah, I mean, I got caught off guard talking a little bit about Jaffe here, just as TDE gets caught off guard by the beautiful Aatrox flank. This was absolutely flawless timing, coming in, getting leaves, getting the reset off of Zenzen as well, and securing it off to Bob Joseph. Geico getting so much more gold, and Tadeusz getting to play the game he signed up to do today.
That's the terrifying thing about Aatrox, is that sometimes he just gets to play the game, and the way that, you know, the 3 of BBZ were able to just pop the ulti on the Taric and really draw attention, and to us, to I'm sure TDE as well, and go, what are they doing? And then you find out that today there's just been lurking in the jungle. He just appears out of nowhere and really swings this game in favor of BBZ. They're going to be able to pick up those kills, pick up this turret in the mid lane, and all it's traded for is some side lane pressure out of Jaffe. That Irelia will continue to be big, but without that TP, cannot show up to answer fights like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's always a good feeling as a top laner when the enemy tops a cringe nay baby, takes the ignite, and you say, you know what, you can have this laning phase. I'm taking your team's mid game and throwing it all under the table because you're not going to be there.
Yeah. So we'll see whether or not Jaffe's going to be able to create the pressure on the side lanes that TDE is really needing. It looks like Zenzen has committed himself to this bot lane for the moment. Obviously, no TP from him either, but does have that unsealed spellbook if they were looking for an early Baron timer. I don't imagine either of these teams really want that. So we might just kind of go into a relaxation state, but BBZ has done a really good job of finding picks with this Lucian, with this Syndra, and that could allow them to continue to create pressure. I was really looking for TDE to do that with the Evelynn and with Jaffe just to draw to side lanes, but BBZ has not fallen for it. They're dealing with the invisible champions at the late stages of the season a lot better than they did in game 1, so it's a change of character, and I need to see TDE, like I said, play to their win condition.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I will say from TDE, right? You know, a lot of the times the enemy AD carry might get fed. That as a top laner, that is something that happens, right? As an Irelia player, whenever that happens, you just have a little bit more of a smile on your face because you realize, you know what? My team, they need me. They have use for me, right? I can be the one person to play spoiler this game, and Jaffe picking up that shield bow, one of the highest DPS build paths for Irelia. This is literally the thing that you pick when you say one of 2 things. 1, I'm going into a side lane, nobody can stop me. 2, I'm going into your back line, no one can stop me.
Yeah, and so far nobody's really been able to stop Jaffe so far in this 1v1. The times that Dax has been able to commit himself to come up and help TDE out. It's been really good. But TDE picking up so much kill participation. Just trying to get the heal off cooldown so he has access back to Ghost, right?
I was for some reason I thought that Leaves was Ultravox and thought that we were seeing a random heal burst off the 80 carry, but no, it's just the unsealed spellbook.
No fat fingers for the moment now.
No alarms there.
This pressure from BBZ is interesting. There's been no show of Mezusa on this bot side. Obviously, he does have that TP, so he's fine to show right now, but they're trying to get a feeling for how many members of TDE are around. And once they've snuffed that out, they're going to show the Syndra in that bot lane. They know that there's nobody down there to rotate. It looks like Jaffe's going to be the one to move himself down towards that bot lane, but that means that it is at best a 4v5 for TDE at this Baron. So if BBZ wants to try and force that, that is an option that's open up to those. Just from some smart vision play from Mezusa.
Yeah. I mean, smart vision play from Mezusa. Going to be able to counteract Leaves' vision play right now. He's going to be able to pick up that scuttle. Going to make sure to have as much vision as possible around the Baron. You know, one thing to know against Evelynn, right? You want to make sure that you're warding the camps, right? Whether it be the Baron, the Dragon, just straight up her camps in general. It's so hard to find her across the map unless you're going to have some kind of way to get, you know, control wards down in a way that you can actively defend. And I mean, if you can actively defend control wards inside of your enemy's territory, you're probably already found a way to win the game anyway.
Yeah, it's I think at that point, you know, you have a little bit too much map control to be worrying about where exactly that Evelynn is. And really, we haven't seen Leaves do what Evelynn can do just yet. Hasn't been able to pick up enough items to really just appear suddenly on your ADC, and there's nothing you can do because the duration from we found her to you're dead is so low. But Leaves hasn't found any of those opportunities, and I think part of that is because of the vision control, and part of how BBZ's been manipulating the vision, making sure that they're not showing people when they don't need to be. Like this, where they've just backed off. Obviously, there's a ward in the middle of the lane there, but the mentality is really good, and they've been able to do that so far. Today, you're just going to push out this top wave, and Leaves doesn't want to answer that. Leaves wants to be down in the spot lane right now, so they might lose a top tier 2 for going for this dragon that is just going to equal them out at 2.
Yeah, that being said, you know, Jaffe going to just continue to pick up as much gold as possible in this bot lane, in this bot side jungle. Yeah, as we were saying earlier, very self-sufficient top laner, more than happy to, you know, just walk down a lane. Oh, there's nothing to take in the lane while I'm taking your jungle. Oh, there's nothing to take in the jungle while I'm taking your lives. You know, just buy one, get one bargain. You know, that's the deal that you always get with
so
Jaffe.
They see Zenzen in the top lane, so the engage is going to come through from BBZ right now. Bob Joseph, already taking out a half HP, is finally going to be able to burn the ulti out and grabs 3 with it. That is most of the duration of the target ulti, but the flash from War Leader finds Ultravox again. Leaves cannot survive, and with the missing solo laners from TDE, their power is lacking.
Yeah, I mean, Zenzen all the way in top lane doesn't have the teleport, you know, despite having the spellbook here. Deuce, no need to teleport down. Beautiful, beautiful flash from War Leader to guarantee the stun. You don't have a cleanse on that Kai'Sa. You don't have a QSS. You don't have any sort of defense available here. Jaffe going to get stunned up? No, but is going to stun himself up with the Defiant Dance.
This feels like too much. Obviously, I really can't make these plays, but oh yeah, there's some additional assistance now. Mezusa's going to be able to clean up that kill nice and pretty. And just the map play from BBZ, able to draw the members away. And this is what happens when you don't take any teleport, is you can just be out macroed. You cannot match the map rotations. And BBZ hasn't even had to burn theirs because they've been able to draw TD around the map. Maybe caught overstaying for the moment right now. There's only 4 in the spot lane right now. 4 for TDE as well. Zenzen's going to try and pull the trigger. Catching out Geico, catching out Dax, catching out Mezusa. War Leader is still there. Dax is taken very low. Double stun from Mezusa. The TP is here from Tadeusz, and he is going to run amok. Missing all of the Qs, though. It's going to give an opportunity for TDE to try and kite this one back. Tadeusz being taken low, but here comes the Aatrox in full force, trying to cut through the members of TDE. Leaves being forced to flash away, and is the bot lane who falls again.
Yeah, and that feels so bad for TDE. You know, also might feel a little bit bad on the side today. You know, had the full-on dynamic entry, falls a little flat on his face, but still going to be able to turn into a bit of a roll. Gonna flip right back up, get a kill, walk on out just because of it. You know, it might not have been the cleanest flank, but man, the timings for this guy to get those flanks down have been impeccable. And TDE had to be so careful. The fact that you had to be more worried about Tadeusz getting a flank on Aatrox than Leaves getting a flank with the Evelynn is not boding well.
It is a sign to this composition just not gelling together correctly from TDE, and really it is that bot side, once again, Geico's been able to open it up with this Lucian. They had to play the waiting game a little bit longer with it, but now War Leader's ridiculously fed, has 2 items finished up. 2 items finished up with 2 half components there for Geico, so realistically 3 items worth of gold, and that is just not being answered anywhere from TDE. They have nowhere near that much money on any of their members right now, and BBZ knows that, and they're going to try and make a play around this Baron.
Yeah, and right now, we finally gotten to the point where there's no more fighting, right? You know, everything's on a knife's edge when it comes to these teams. They're always looking for some kind of fight, especially Dax right now, aggressive positioning here. You know, Geico just walking up the mid lane, just going to continue to pick up as much farm as possible.
Ooh, and they see Jaffe pressuring in the bot lane, so they're happy to go aggressive. They know that Irelia is not going to be here. Tadeusz is going to start up the Baron. He's doing that solo for the moment. There is the additional damage now coming through. Mizusa on the job of trying to push away. They see that aggression. They have to know that Baron's being taken down. Got that fresh ward in there for the moment. Bob Joseph is going to pop the ulti, try and get them in right now. It's 5k on the Baron. First tower's already gone down to the bot side, and now Zenzen feeling the force of BBZ as they are going to run him down and run him back to the mid lane. Kill picked up for Lucian onto a rampage now, but the Baron's been stopped. Jaffe's onto that tier 2 turret. Now it's onto Bob Joseph to try and stop these recalls. Tadeusz being stopped first. Leaves is still alive. Gonna try and threaten away the Lucian right now. Does miss the Q. He's in so deep. He's got no way to get back out of there, and they're gonna lose their smite instantly. Turret bounty claim though. That's 700 gold going over to that Irelia right now, but it's gonna be the Baron falling to BBZ. There's been no answer from TDE around this pit.
Irelia just able to pick up a tier 2 tower, but a full Baron is not worth the weight of one tier 2 tower. Like, yes, you do manage to finish the death stance. Yes, maybe Irelia will start showing up to these team fights, but is it too little too late? That is almost 7,000 gold now on the side of BBZ that they can use to line their coffers to just continue to pick up as much gold as possible. And, while Jaffe, last week with the heroic grand finals was able to really cement in when he said, hey, I think I'm the best top laner in both leagues, right? We saw him coming out with that amazing performance, but he has to bring out something maybe even stronger than what we saw last time, because man, the odds are stacked against him.
Yeah, he hasn't been able to really pick up and go with this Irelia the same way he was able to before, in the same way that we've seen him do time and time again in previous seasons, come and gone. And right now, we're looking at 15 seconds on this Dragon. This is going to be soul point picked up for BBZ. That is going to be enormous for this Aatrox, for this Taric. Going to be able to just move around, be active on the map, and there's just no way for TDE to try and answer this. There's no way to get side lane pressure, because if Jaffe's too far from his base, he could just lose the game.
Yeah, I mean, you do have the death stance, so, there's one of the really important points for Irelia here, but there's so many points that have to be, made, so many T's that have to be dashed, so many I's that have to be dotted.
Crossing the I's, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah, I feel you. Looks like BBZ feeling themselves right now, going to try and create some pressure onto this bot lane inhibitor turret. There's still been no recall from Jaffe because he's facing off with Tadeusz. This is a 4v4 that I think TDE knows they can't take it right now. Trying to pop some abilities right now. The run in onto Bob Joseph. He's going to get double stunned up. Geico, a little bit of vulnerable position, pulled forward. Leaves is trying to find a way in. Doesn't have that flash available to continue to chase. Dax taken low.
Big ulti.
Isn't able to get the invincibility. Really low HP bar right now from Geico. TP has come through. There's been no deaths on the side of TDE. And there is some aggression, some chase. We've seen this before. They get caught out! The scatter! The weak removes the flanking force from TDE, and Leaves has no way to get out of here. The flash has to be burnt. Tadeusz trying to continue to turn another big stun from Mizusa, but he removes them from Summoner's Rift.
Man! Dear Lord, BBZ are so incredibly terrifying, doing perfect cosplays of their champions. Mizusa truly scattering their weak. Tadeusz really trying to end everyone's worlds right now. I cannot believe how terrifying these guys are. They're not even level 16 yet.
Yeah,
right.
They've been
and
kind of
that
unstoppable.
that Baron play was so incredibly strong for BBZ. And one thing to really note here, that Baron still being around on that engage is easily one of the most important things to note, because had it not been, Jaffe gets a free access to a wave, gets to dash into the back line. Geico wasn't tagged up with that Taric ultimate, was very, very, difficult position to find yourself in. But if you can't enable this Irelia, it's so hard to find your ins.
Yeah, and looks like Bob Joseph is going to try and find them one right now to try and protect this mid-tier 2, but it isn't there. Hold on, the flank there from Zenzen is in really deep. 4 right now for BBZ, fighting
Watch
the
Geico,
but the health bars are just favoring BBZ. Geico taking really low, being chased down by the Maokai, but there's no risk in that. Ultravox, low HP. Leaves is about to fall. Jaffe trying to turn this with all of his might. Finds a way, and Geico picks up the kill! Jaffe's still alive in the back line. It is low health bars. Dax trying to run forward, create this fight, going back the other way right now. Leaves is stunned up. Trade coming back from Bob Joseph is a double kill picked up for Dax. They're going to take down the tree and the run forward towards the base. It is minions on all sides. And BBZ looking to bring this to game number 5.
Geico going down, but that's the best part about insurance. You always have a backup plan. And right now, going to be able to take down the mid tower, the mid inhib. And with this wave, looking to end the game with such a huge, huge lead. Only one person stands in the way of a game 5. Zenzen looking to play the spoiler, not going to be able to get it.
Oh, looks like TDE gonna have a moment of weakness here. They weren't able to put the draft together, and BBZ looks strong. Game 4 can be a turning point sometimes in best of 5s, as it looks like it's gonna be the turning point for BBZ. They don't feel comfortable to take this as those respawns come through. They lose to Deuge. And with 2 inhibitors down, Nexus turrets no longer being a part of the fighting force for TD, it looks like they're just gonna have to stall out.
Yeah, I mean, Tadeusz with a little bit of an untimely dash in through Zenzen's, set up is going to be going down, but not before any big objective, so it's not the most meaningful death out there. That being said, the game is saved. Zenzen going to be able to play spoiler, potentially for the last time this game, but as far as Zenzen's concerned, he wants to make it count.
Yeah, it's there's so much gold right now on the side of BBZ. This game looks pretty much insurmountable. They have to be looking for picks, but BBZ is doing such a good job of preventing it, making sure that there is no risk. They can always walk into their jungle and feel safe, and that's going to continue to be the theme right now as Baron is up really soon. Jaffe has been dealt the task of trying to deal with this bot lane and will not be able to answer this Baron. This is why the lack of TP hurts so much. This is why it's such a prominent summoner spell in the current meta of League, because you need to be able to be everywhere at once. You want to create the side lane pressure, and if you cannot play priority into a team that's playing it, it's been the meta for 6 years for a reason. It looks like Zenzen gonna get caught out right now. Geico going a bit aggressive. I don't know if they want to force this right now, but right before the Baron, ult gets popped out of Bob Joseph. It looks like BBZ is just gonna try and walk this one away. Does catch out on War Leader. He's gonna burn the stun, chase this one away. That is ultimate off of Bob Joseph.
Ultimate off of Bob Joseph, but one thing I was gonna note about the last big fight that they had, Taric was healing so much throughout that fight. It was constant, it was disgusting, it was phenomenal. This time around, they finally have some form of healing reduction. They got the Ignite on Jaffe. They got Ghost and Ignite on Zenzen. You have to figure out where exactly you can spend these summoner spells, but right now, BBZ's continuing.
They're trying to catch War Leader
so much.
Able to get out on the blast cone, and now we're out of mana on Bob Joseph. He's been forced to check those bushes so often. Look at the play that's happening top right now. There's availability for just 2 TPs to be popped right now for BBZ to pressure that Nexus, but instead they're going to see that play. TDE has to respond, and they have to give up the Baron pit. Today is just going to be able to stand in front of this. Leaves is not going to be available to steal, and they're going to try and hold this at the front door.
Yeah, I mean, you've got everyone, every single piece of the puzzle doing exactly what it is that's necessary for them. Tadeusz was the only one who was, having so much trouble in the laning phase, but right now, essentially, as far as utility is concerned, still going to be able to provide about as much to his team as Jaffe's able to provide to TDE's team right now. This Aatrox just so terrifying with every single item in his inventory available.
Block the minions there, but he wasn't able to get all of them right now. That siege, this pair of sieges are walking away. trying to get some sort of a catch onto BBZ right now, but no engage really looks favorable. Such a gold deficit. Jaffe nearly stunned up there, forced to burn the W out, but now the culling is coming down. They're trying to move towards that inhibitor. Jaffe dives into the backline, but it's just removed from the game. Leaves is caught up from the rest of his team right now. Zen forced to go back and heal Bob Joseph in the most precarious of places because the Nexus is open. BBZ gonna run it towards the fountain of TDE and force this game number 5.
Oh my lord. And BBZ, came in the #1 TDE spoilers, if I do say so myself. I mean, in the regular season, from what I understand, BBZ was one of the first teams to take down TDE, and it seems that we might have a repeat of that regardless of how BBZ's been doing into other teams. TDE might have had a very strong Irelia. Zen was playing phenomenally on the Taliyah, but God, does that Lucian pump out damage.
There's going to be a change in the pick bans. There has to be. There's going to be adaptations. We are looking at a game number 5. I see you singing Silver Scrapes in chat, and I appreciate it. We're going to take you guys to a game number 5. This has been a hype set. You do not want to miss it.